Today we'll be talking about the impact of cultural diffusion into South Korea and how it derived from many places. Throughout history, Korea had many contacts with other cultures, especially with their improvement in technology. Although Korea has a population which is consistent, with 80% of their population having similar last names, there is still definitely influence from other cultures that had taken an effect on some aspects in Korean culture. What is cultural diffusion? Cultural diffusion is the spreading of ideas, language, religion, and customs from one culture to another. As we're talking about cultural diffusion in Korea, China is a big factor that affects Korean culture. Cultural diffusion from Japan and China usually affects Korea because of its location, as Korea lays in between China and Japan and is usually called the shrimp between two whales. Chinese culture diffuses into Korea. Throughout much of its history, Korea had been greatly influenced by Chinese civilization, borrowing the written language, arts, religions, and models of government administration from China, and in the process, transforming these borrowed traditions into distinctly Korean forms. An example of Chinese cultural diffusion in ancient Korea. In the first century BCE, numerous tribal states on the Korean peninsula consolidated into three kingdoms: Goryeo from 37 BCE to 668 CE in northern Korea and extended into Manchuria; Pakche from 18 BCE to 663 CE in southwest; and Sheila from 75 BCE to 668 CE in southeast. These kingdoms were strongly influenced by Chinese culture and government administration. This example of cultural diffusion in Korea that I will share with you today is the Shilla dynasty civil service system. The civil service system was originally a Chinese idea that made its way to Korea. Koreans modified it so that only aristocrats could take the exam to get in the government. The Korean used Confucianism, which is Chinese, same as the last example. Koreans had sent students over to China and they learned about this new belief system. This belief system stayed in Korean culture and is a fundamental part of society today. The Koreans took Chinese handwriting, which is called Hanja, and turned it into their own type of writing, which is called Hangul, which is similar to Chinese but had different aspects, and made it to their own culture. Hangul had been used since then in Korea. Japanese annexation of Korea.
The white-robed gentleman with the funny hat is the main attraction. This fellow is a typical example of the native Korean. He bows to the dominion of Japan, but he firmly declines to admit the superiority of Japan's intellectual and moral culture over his own.
Japanese diffusion in Korea happened during the Japanese annexation of Korea in 1910 to 1945. Japan wanted to pass their culture on to Korea during those 35 years, but Koreans were prohibited of doing anything that was related to their culture, and they were forced to adapt Japanese culture, such as language, religion, and written language such as kanji in Japanese. And they were taught in school, and Koreans were not allowed to speak in Korean. Japan was exposed to Western ideas before Korea, so through the annexation, Korea had gotten the Western ideas and modern ideas from Japan. However, Korea refused to let go of their culture and still managed to retain their cultural identity. Korea's influence on other cultures. Korea also influenced other cultures, such as Korean companies like Samsung and Hyundai had massively spread around the world. The term Hallyu Wave, which means Korean wave, is used to express a phenomenon of Korean entertainment and popular culture rolling around the world with pop music, TV dramas, movies, and technology. Many people from China and other countries travel to Korea just to get plastic surgery, as it has the best plastic surgeons. And plastic surgery is a huge part of Korean culture, as their population is homogeneous and there is a lot of competition between people on looking the best.